forward and standing cried aloud, "O merchants, O men of money! Every round thing is not a walnut, and every long thing a banana is not. All reds are not meat, nor all whites fat, nor is every brown thing a date. O merchants, I have here this union pearl that hath no price. At what sum shall I cry her?" "Cry her at 4,500 dinars," quoth one of the traders. The broker opened the door of sale at the sum named, and as he was yet calling, lo! the Wazir Al Mu'in bin Sawi passed through the bazar and, seeing Nur al Din Ali waiting at one side, said to himself, "Why is Khakan's son standing about here? Hath this gallows bird aught remaining wherewith to buy slave girls?" Then he looked round and, seeing the broker calling out in the market with all the merchants around him, said to himself, "I am sure that he is penniless and hath brought hither the damsel Anis al Jalis for sale. Oh, how cooling and grateful is this to my heart!" Then he called the crier, who came up and kissed the ground before him, and he said to him, "I want this slave girl whom thou art calling for sale." The broker dared not cross him, so he answered, "O my lord, Bismillah! in Allah's name so be it!" and led forward the damsel and showed her to him. She pleased him much, whereat he asked, "O Hasan, what is bidden for this girl?" And he answered, 4,500 dinars to open the door of sale. Quoth Al Mu'in, 4,500 is my bid. When the merchants heard this they held back and dared not bid another dirham, wotting what they did of the Wazir's tyranny, violence and treachery. So Al Mu'in looked at the broker and said to him, "Why stand still? Go and offer 4,000 dinars for me, and the 500 shall be for thyself." Thereupon the broker went to Nur al Din and said, "O my lord, thy slave is going for nothing." "And how so?" asked he. The broker answered, "We had opened the biddings for her at 4,500 dinars, when that tyrant Al Mu'in bin Sawi passed through the bazar, and, as he saw the damsel, she pleased him; so he cried to me, 'Call me the buyer at 4,000 dinars, and thou shalt have 500 for thyself.' I doubt not but that he knoweth that the damsel is thine, and if he would pay thee down her price at once it were well; but I know his injustice and violence: he will give thee a written order upon some of his agents, and will send after thee to say to them, 'Pay him nothing.' So as often as thou shalt go in quest of the coin they will say, 'We'll pay thee presently;' and they will put thee off day after day, and thou art proud of spirit, till at last, when they are wearied with thine importunity, they will say, 'Show us the cheque.' Then, as soon as they have got hold of it, they will tear it up and thou wilt lose the girl's price." When Nur al Din heard this he looked at the broker and asked him, "How shall this matter be managed?" And he answered, "I will give thee a counsel which, if thou follow, it shall bring thee complete satisfaction." "And what is that?" quoth Nur al Din. Quoth the broker, "Come thou to me anon when I am standing in the middle of the market and, taking the girl from my hand, give her a sound cuffing and say to her, 'Thou baggage! I have kept my vow and brought thee down to the slave market, because I swore an oath that I would carry thee from home to the bazar and make brokers cry thee for sale.' If thou do this, perhaps the device will impose upon the Wazir and the people, and they will believe that thou broughtest her not to the bazar but for the quittance of thine oath." He replied, "Such were the best way." Then the broker left him and, returning into the midst of the market, took the damsel by the hand and signed to the Wazir and said, "O my lord, here is her owner." With this up came Nur al Din Ali and, snatching the girl from the broker's hand, cuffed her soundly and said to her, "Shame on thee, thou baggage! I have brought thee to the bazar for quittance of mine oath: now get thee home and thwart me no more as is thy wont." "Woe to thee! Do I need thy price that I should sell thee? The furniture of my house would fetch thy value many times over." When Al Mu'in saw this, he said to Nur al Din, "Out on thee! Hast thou anything left for selling or buying?" And he would have laid violent hands upon him, but the merchants interposed, for they all loved Nur al Din; and the young man said to them, Here am I in your hands and ye all know his tyranny." "By Allah," cried the Wazir, "but for you I had slain him." Then all signed with significant eyes to Nur al Din, as much as to say, "Take thy wreak of him; not one of us will come between thee and him." Thereupon Nur al Din, who was stout of heart as he was stalwart of limb, went up to the Wazir and, dragging him over the pommel of his saddle, threw him to the ground. Now there was in that place a puddling pit for brick clay, into the midst of which he fell, and Nur al Din kept pummelling and fisticuffing him, and one of the blows fell full on his teeth and his beard was dyed with his blood. Also there were with the Minister 10 armed slaves who, seeing their master entreated after this fashion, laid hand on sword hilt and would have bared blades and fallen on Nur al Din to cut him down; but the merchants and bystanders said to them, "This is a Wazir and that is the son of a Wazir. Haply they will make friends some time or other, in which case you will forfeit the favour of both; or perchance a blow may befal your lord and you will all die the vilest of deaths: so it were better for you not to interfere." Accordingly they held aloof, and when Nur al Din had made an end of thrashing the Wazir, he took his handmaid and fared homewards. Al Mu'ín also went his ways at once, with his raiment dyed of 3 colours, black with mud, red with blood, and ash coloured with brick clay. When he saw himself in this state he bound a bit of matting round his neck and, taking in hand 2 bundles of coarse Halfah grass, went up to the palace and, standing under the Sultan's windows, cried aloud, "O King of the age, I am a wronged man, I am foully wronged." So they brought him before the King who looked at him and behold, it was the Chief Minister; whereupon he said, "O Wazir, who did this deed by thee?" Al Mu'ín wept and sobbed and repeated these lines, "Shall the world oppress me when thou art in't? In the lion's presence shall wolves devour? Shall the dry all drink of thy tanks, and I under rain cloud thirst for the cooling shower?" "O my lord," cried he, "the like will befal every one who loveth and serveth thee well." "Be quick with thee," quoth the Sultan, "and tell me how this came to pass, and who did this deed by one whose honour is part of my honour." Quoth the Wazir, "Know, O my lord, that I went out this day to the slave market to buy me a cook maid, when I saw there a damsel; never in my life long saw I a fairer, and I designed to buy her for our lord the Sultan. So I asked the broker of her and of her owner, and he answered, 'She belongeth to Ali son of Al Fazl bin Khákán. Some time ago our lord the Sultan gave his father 10,000 dinars wherewith to buy him a handsome slave girl, and he bought this maiden who pleased him; so he grudged her to our lord the Sultan and gave her to his own son. When the father died, the son sold all he had of houses and gardens and household gear and squandered the price till he was penniless. Then he brought the girl to the market that he might sell her, and he handed her over to the broker to cry, and the merchants bid higher and higher on her, until the price reached 4,000 dinars; whereupon quoth I to myself, I will buy this damsel for our lord the Sultan, whose money was paid for her. So I said to Nur al Din, 'O my son, sell her to me for 4,000 dinars.' When he heard my words he looked at me and cried, 'O ill omened oldster, I will sell her to a Jew or to a Nazarene, but I will not sell her to thee.' 'I do not buy her for myself,' said I buy her for our lord and benefactor the Sultan.' Hearing my words he was filled with rage and dragging me off my horse (and I am a very old man) beat me unmercifully with his fists and buffeted me with his palms till he left me as thou seest; and all this hath befallen me only because I thought to buy this damsel for thee." Then the Wazir threw himself on the ground and lay there weeping and shivering. When the Sultan saw his condition and heard his story, the vein of rage started out between his eyes and he turned to his bodyguard who stood before him, 40 white slaves, smiters with the sword, and said to them, "Go down forthright to the house built by the son of Khákán and sack it and raze it and bring to me his son Nur al Din with the damsel. and drag them both on their faces with their arms pinioned behind